People who work in IT. What's the wildest thing you've discovered, had to do while at work?
Back when I first started ages ago, a woman called in and said, "My mouse isn't working." I asked her if it was wired or wireless.
I don't know.
Why would I know that?
What do you mean? Is it wired or not?
Is there a wire on it? I said I don't know. This isn't my job to know, it's yours. So I asked her if she picked it up and walked away, how far would she get?
I was the one that got in trouble. My husband does not work in IT, but he should.
He worked on a facilities team at an expensive private school, and one day got a ticket to remove, trash a 75-inch TV. He approached the head of the IT department asking why he needed to trash it when he had just installed it brand new. The head of IT told him it won't stop shutting off.
My husband loaded it into the work van and dropped it at our house instead. Later he came home, plugged it in, and turned off the 10 minutes automatic power-off timer.
We got a fancy TV for free. Walked all the way across campus in the Florida heat just to tell a PhD professor that the reason their monitor kept turning off every few seconds was because the computer was in fact turned off. Then got yelled at for her classroom not being ready for her when she came in.
Also was told to make sure these projectors aren't in the building by the end of day.
Don't care where they go, just that they aren't here tomorrow, by my boss.
It was more expensive to buy new bulbs for them than to just buy new ones, so that's how I ended up with 5 projectors that lasted years. Drive to an office for emergency on-call service charging the client $400 plus dollars an hour to plug the power back into a switch which their cleaning staff had knocked loose. My colleague got a call from a customer who was a pastor as he needed help with his computer. It was a weekend, and my colleague knew his machine name, so he remotely logged onto it as he in parallel started calling him. Screen loads, and it's playing lesbian porn, on his work computer, in the church. Needless to say, it was awkward as the pastor answered the call a few seconds later. Take literal magnets off of the laptop so that it would work again. We implemented content blocking for websites, stuff leak prawn, drugs, alcohol, etc., to only have to unblock porn for said construction client because the CEO liked to crank it in his office. Someone recently called my help desk requesting that we clear the roads so she could get to work. The sky is falling and water's in the way. Meaning, it's raining really hard and the streets are flooded. As the IT help desk, of course there's nothing we can do about that. Lady from the office downstairs borrowed my boss's keyboard whilst waiting for a replacement. When hers arrived, she washed the borrowed one in the kitchen sink and left it on the draining board to dry out. Explained to the chief technology officer that having the prod server and its backup server sat next to each other may well save cost on not having 2 data centers, but when that data center, also known as the stationary cupboard, goes, it's not such a money-saving idea. I had to remotely install a spyware program on a VP, CFO's laptop because loss prevention was trying to gather information on him. The software recorded keystrokes, program usage, web history and videos of what he was doing on the laptop. He resigned the next day after they found that he had a girlfriend in one of the company's manufacturing plants in China. The guy lost $1 million job for that. Probably lost his wife and home too. Other workers screenshot her window screen, made it her background, then moved her taskbar off screen. She kept clicking start but nothing would happen. This wasn't at work but at a LAN party. Had a guy in a CS 1.6 tourney had a system was constantly overheating and locking up. Opened it up to find it caked with dust. A few people split the job of cleaning it and I was given the CPU heatsink. I didn't have my tools and all I had was some plastic utensils and with what was in the bathroom. The sink was too small to get the heatsink under it and the knife was not getting it off. So I just stuck the heatsink in the, relatively clean, toilet. All of the caked dust and gunk came off. I was able to shake it off, put it under the air dryer, apply some thermal compound on it and put it back in the machine. The other guys got the rest of the system cleaned up. I didn't tell him I flushed his heatsink in the toilet. Got paged one night because of a data outage. Turns out one of our on-call response folks went into the server room, locked themselves in, and unplugged several machines. This caused several data outages, which caused a page and thus someone driving in to resolve it. This was a major military mission-critical system and this guy thought the best way to get someone's attention was to break a bunch of stuff.
I just flicked a defective screen back to life not 2 minutes ago.
Like a small laptop screen that just wouldn't turn on even after taking it out and putting it back in.
Then I get uppity and flick it and boom.
Actual craziest was a fired employee who was wildly underperforming coming to give back her laptop. I booted it up and she had a contract and payslips from the other company she was working for with our stuff. She was dumb as a rock and HR tore through her case.